think of Anthony Edwards? Does he evolve his game this year?
I mean, the thing that jumps out at you is the three-point volume, his ability to make shots at a really high level off the bounce. You know, his pick and roll threes, his ISO threes, dribble up transition threes. He shoots them all at a really high clip, and you know, I think that's the, you know, he's still got his mid-range package. He's still got the ability to get to the rim and finish, but not many guys that can shoot off the dribble at volume from three can also make 40% of them. You know, that unlocks a lot.
You guys have recently played some teams that have played two bigs and a lot of size in the front court. Being able to dictate the terms of engagement against those teams, getting them to downsize by one big or sometimes no bigs. This is obviously one of the biggest teams in the league from a front court perspective. How important do you think that factor is in the series in terms of you guys downsizing and kind of matching that up?
Yeah, I mean, they're, like I said on Sunday, they're a really good basketball team. I think the more you watch them on film, the more you respect them. They're a better team than 49 wins. They're the other three teams that are top 10 in offense and defense are all 60-win teams. And I think they've, over the second half, since Randall and DiVincenzo got back from injury, about 50 games in, they've played really well the last 20 or so games. So, it's like any playoff series, you're going to prepare for game one, and you're going to go try to win game one. And then from there, it's adjustment after adjustment. It's I can't tell you how game three is going to go, because I can't tell you how game 1 and 2 went. So we'll prepare for game one, and we'll go from there.
Do you have live action today, and did everyone participate?
No live action. Today was intentionally not a mental day. We'll get into the mental and prep side tomorrow. Today was just about getting back up in the gym, some conditioning, a lot of shooting. I think everyone was a full participant in that, including Maxey and LeBron. And then they just had a stay ready game, but all good.
Where do you think stand with Maxey Kleber?
He's back on the court doing on-court activities, but no timeline.
JJ, you checked in with players multiple times throughout the season, and if you saw something you didn't like, you challenged them. How were those conversations with Austin this season? What areas did you challenge him in, and I guess how did you see him respond?
I think the first real challenge was, just the sort of post-Dorian trade and him becoming the primary handler and the responsibility that comes with that, just in terms of decision-making and trying to find that balance. I think I talked to you guys about it at some point. You got to allow the Pistol Pete shit to some degree, because it's what makes him Austin. But trying to find that balance, challenged him throughout the year on leadership. He's really grown in that area, and then the challenge to the three main guys, to AR and LeBron and Luka, and them being able to accept that challenge of figuring something out on the fly in the middle of the season. We challenged all three of those guys on that, and Austin's great to coach. Awesome to coach, and he's accepted every challenge and sort of exceeded any sort of baseline level of response that we could expect from him.
What kind of leader is he?
Austin? Well, he's becoming a more vocal leader. I think he has grown into that responsibility, and he's not a first-round pick. He's not a lottery pick. He's not a top 5 pick that comes in and you've got the expectations and the future of the franchise. Like, he came in and he earned his way to get a contract, and I think subconsciously, no matter how good you think you are, you may think, well, it's not my responsibility. But as he's grown as a player, I think he's grown as a leader, and I think watching him on court and then watching him in huddles throughout the year, you can see that maturation.
think you said after Sunday's game that you guys are going to focus on yourselves first before diving into Minnesota-specific game plans or scenarios. What did you want to see cleaned up or fortified excuse me, today before you dove?
Nothing. Didn't do anything today. We literally ran up and down the court a bunch, and we took a lot of shots.
When you think back to when LeBron and Luka first shared the court together, what were the signs of instant chemistry that you saw, and what layers have you seen them unlock in the 10 weeks or so they played together?
I think instantly you see just the ability to feed off each other in transition, particularly with Luka as an outlet passer, LeBron running or getting down the court and creating an early cross match and getting that early seal. We saw that sort of right away. I think within the half court, they've done a good job of figuring that out on the fly. Either LeBron off ball, LeBron as a screener with him, LeBron and AR working together in a two-man to then get the ball to Luka if nothing's there. Providing optionality, I think, has been the big thing since our talk in Memphis is just, it doesn't necessarily mean you three are all working together. Sometimes you two can go work on the side, you can work over there, and that to me is like how you play three-man basketball with three guys that are in some ways ball dominant, in some ways great shooters, and none of them are bigs. You know what I mean? It's generally speaking, for another team, that's a switching group. I used to talk about that all the time with the Celtics and Tatum and Brown. It's not Malone and Stockton. It's not Kobe and Shaq. You got to figure it out in a different way. And I think as we've progressed over this last few weeks, I think we've made progress there. We still have a long way to go, but we've made progress.
JJ, since the trade till now, what do you think have been the keys for the group to be able to carve out the defensive identity that they've had?
Starts with playing hard. I think LeBron throughout the year has just been a real leader on that end of the floor for us. And I just think the buy-in to what schematically we're doing, the game plan we're giving them, has been really good. You're going to have games where you don't have a 106 defensive rating. That's why it's your average defensive rating. You might have some 98s mixed in there. You might have some 132s mixed in there. You're going to have some of those outliers, and that's understandable in an 82-game season. But I really believe this, outside of that 2.5 week stretch where we had some injuries in the schedule, we've built that, and I think the guys are confident that we've done that enough now, starting with the Houston game, the first Houston game over the last 2 weeks of the regular season, where it reinforced what we did for 25 games.
JJ, you've been open throughout the course of the season about how much you enjoy diving into the details, individual game prep. Now having a full series to prepare for, and having just a week leading into game one. What's that process been like for you, just in terms of diving into Minnesota? And your
I think the first thing, and Greg, St. Jean, and Wex have been really helpful, not just for me, but just for the whole staff, is the first thing was getting organized. In some ways, if we don't do it right, especially for me, first time, it's a little bit like when I first took the job and I've got the draft, free agency, summer league, and it's all just happening at once. And it's like, whoa, what just happened? I got to hire my staff. What just happened? And, we've been very intentional starting last week about how we wanted this week to look, how we wanted what we present to the team, when, all that stuff. And we had, 6 hours of meetings today and a few hours yesterday. We feel good about kind of where we are on Tuesday getting ready for a Saturday game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, JJ.